It's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective. It's my perspective. Yeah, yo, am I wrong or is it just you? Or did my life show me some things that gave me my view? And if I went through what you went through, would I be you? I don't know. That's too many questions with no answer, but plenty chances for many lessons. Am I willing to learn that it's all perception? That the picture that I paint ain't the one that you sketching? So can we disagree without drawing a weapon? Long as I can understand that it's just your perspective. Yeah, it's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective. It's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective. It's my perspective. Yeah, yo, am I wrong or is it just you? Or did my life show me some things that gave me my view? And if I went through what you went through, would I be you? I don't know. That's too many questions with no answer, but plenty chances for many lessons. Am I willing to learn that it's all perception? That the picture that I paint ain't the one that you sketching? So can we disagree without drawing a weapon? Long as I can understand that it's just your perspective. Yeah, it's my perspective. Yeah, from my perspective.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to My Perspective Friday. I'm your host, Sean, and I have John, and I have Tila, and I have Larry, or as far as the cast. So everybody just wave their hands out to everybody. And tonight's topic that we're going to be discussing is trust earned or given? Is trust earned or given?
Ooh, that's a hot topic.
That has been a very hot topic lately, and I would like to know, in your own words, do you think trust is earned or is it given? Well, we'll start with Larry. What do you think, Larry?
Hey, trust has to be earned. It can get no way around that. It has to be earned.
And why would you think it needs to be earned instead of given?
Well, I'm personally one of them people that I don't want to say doesn't trust people, but you need to I don't want to say prove yourself, but I just believe that you can't take it for granted. You take it for granted, then you have all kinds of issues. So you got to earn it. If you don't want to earn it, you don't deserve it.
Well, I say this, and I guess, when you're talking about friendships is different than relationships in work, right? You go to work with somebody, me and Tila, it's the first day I'm at this job. I may not trust her. She's got to earn my trust. But I hear this in relationships, and that's weird. Once I've decided you're my girlfriend, what more trust do you need to earn? I've given you the title, so I should be trusting you already.
Well, I think by the time you get into a relationship, you have that trust.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, you can meet someone and you don't automatically trust them.
Yes, that's correct.
In a relationship that develops, and that's what I mean by earn it, but in a workplace, particularly your, say, supervisors or managers or what have you, you need to know that you can trust them, and that's what they have to earn, because that sort of goes with respect.
Right.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I was just saying, I hear people in relationships already saying you have to earn my trust, and I'm like, but you're already in the relationship. That's
so what you're saying, John, and what you're saying, Larry, what it sounds like is, excuse me, more so, Larry, what it sounds like is that earning trust comes with experience. What you're saying is that this is something that you experience And because you're experienced, that's why somebody has to earn your trust. What do you think, Tila?
Oh, Tila, your audio, and I know you got a lot to say. But
You're on mute. There she
Yes.
goes.
My thing is, I agree with both sides, because any situation, when I first meet you, regardless if it's professional, personal, I don't know anything about you. So I can't automatically say I trust you, but I'm gonna give you a chance, because some people say you start on zero. I can't say you start on zero. So you can have a little bit of my trust, and then it can be do something, and it makes me say, okay, yeah, I really can trust you with other things, especially when it comes to professional. I trust you to do your work because I'm looking at your resume, I'm looking at different things. But then when it comes to, personally, that's where that friendship, it's like levels of friendship. I get to know you. And then if I decide I want to have a relationship with you, then you still got to earn some trust.
Yeah, she didn't trust me when she met me. She didn't trust me when she met me. I could tell.
Well, the thing is,
all over her face. She didn't trust me.
I mean, it takes
Yeah,
a
you
little.
talked about that before you came on, too.
Yeah,
So you was in the backstage with Larry. Okay, I got it.
So let me ask a question. So when I think of trust, I was reading something and it made a lot of sense to me. When I think of trust, it's like keeping score. And there's going to be, so the more that you trust somebody, the higher the score is. But the issue with that is there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. So let's just, when I'm talking about keeping score, when you keep scores, there's always a winner, there's always a loser, or there's always somebody that's at the highest point, and there's somebody here. Now,
well, there's levels to any and everything.
Right, and let's just take a 2-year-old, right? Let's take two 2-year-olds, right? No experience at all, right? With being lied to, whatever. They wholeheartedly, when they meet somebody, if they don't have any bad experience, they think that they can trust this person. And as we get older through our experience, we know that I can't put my hand on the stove because I don't trust it not to be off, right? So it can go both ways depending on experience, but that's the way that I look at trusting and earning. There's different levels.
I think you have a level of trust at the beginning. It's not as high, and it's up to you to decide if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down from wherever you start.
I mean, so basically, John, what you're saying. Go ahead, John.
I would say, okay, so you look at it from two sides because, people are different. I look at it, comics behind me, the Batman, Superman thing, right? I'm more of a Superman. I trust people. I generally try to think people are good. I know there's a lot of people who aren't and don't have your best interests, but I go into it thinking everyone is on good terms until they prove otherwise.
Correct.
I can't deal with the people, and I understand why. Okay, I get reasons why people don't trust. But then you have the Batmans, right? They don't trust anybody. They go in already not trusting you. And I feel like when you go in already in the don't trusting phase, sometimes you're not listening to me. You're waiting for the catch, and you're on guard. And it's like sometimes that can be infuriating.
Yeah, and that's based on experiences from the past.
Because Tila knows me better. Tila knows me better than both of you. She knows I'll give people the sleeve off my back, but you do something nice for somebody and they're like, what do you want out of it?
That's true.
What is it?
And that comes from their past experiences because they've dealt with people who have done that. And that's why they're on guard because of that. It's like, you want something from me, so you gain my trust just to disappoint me or to hurt me later. But, that's different when it comes to other people. Because say, for instance, like relationships you talked about earlier, they might not have that same thing when it comes to females. But then you have some females like, I don't trust any female. So, and that comes from just experiences, because you do have a level of trust if you're going to have somebody in your space to a point, because you wouldn't allow them in your space at all if you didn't have some level of trust.
John, do you think that we sabotage trust? Like I'm waiting. Tila said something very, very catching. Kind of like waiting for something to happen, especially coming out of a bad relationship. You may be in an abusive relationship, and then all of a sudden you and your significant other is upset, and he or she may walk out and slam the door. Then that just puts on like a PTSD moment in your head, and then all of a sudden you're like, nope, that's the way it started, slamming the door. Next thing, slamming my head against the door.
Oh my God.
So basically, it's. What do you think, John?
Well, I want Larry Edwards. Hello, I love that name. Larry Edwards. Hello.
Hello, what's up?
I don't know how that got on there. But, hello to everybody.
Hello, Larry.
I'm gonna ask Larry.
What you're saying, though, coming out of an abusive relationship, that kind of goes to the point that I was making earlier. You come out of an abusive relationship, you get started in another one, and no way are you going to trust anybody right away.
Yeah,
that person in your new relationship has to prove their trust to you.
Because you won't get a relationship with them.
This is why.
All right. Let me rephrase that. I didn't mean a relationship. I mean, when you meet somebody, that's when they have to prove their trust.
Yes.
When you do have that trust, then you can move into a relationship.
Yes.
You know what, Larry? So you were right. You were right both ways. You just said it. The first way you said it is how a lot of people act. The second way you say it is how people should act. So you kind of were right both ways. I wasn't saying like you were wrong. I was saying because I knew what you were talking about. If you, and I used to say this to people that I used to date earlier back in the day, I am not here to make up for all of your mistakes. So if you're not ready to get in a relationship because you can't trust anybody, go talk to someone, get help, figure it out, and then come back to me. Because all you're doing is creating a next hostile environment. Because I got to make up for the knucklehead that you picked, right?
Exactly.
So when I would go into my relationships, and Sean said it earlier, start at zero. I tell everybody, I treat it just like work. Hey, I'm your new manager. Whatever you did with the older manager doesn't matter. You got a clean slate right now. Just because my ex-girlfriend cheated, I can't make my next girlfriend walk on eggshells because I'm waiting for her to cheat.
Right. Because then you're in a space where you can never do anything right. You can't be yourself. You can never let go and just be you.
Well,
yeah. So those were great points, Larry. I agree with you on both points that you made.
I believe people just
have a hard time letting go.
Yeah, and I agree. Like it comes with experience, and it's always that one person that you like, oh my God, if I ever see that person again, I'll walk to the other side of the road or something. And then what happens is a song, a smell, a food, some clothes, a movie, anything just triggers it. And then because we are so embedded on being hurt, we don't look past look past that and say, you know what, maybe there is something good about this person. Maybe I should give this person my trust and instead of them earning it.
Well, Sean.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
Hold on, Sean. But here's the problem with that. People won't talk to professionals. They want to talk to friends that are in the same situation.
Jailhouse lawyers.
Bitter friends. Yeah, they talk.
Jailhouse lawyers.
Yeah, people in relationships who ask single people for advice always kills me. If you're suffering from all that pain, like Larry was talking about the mistreatment that you had, if you're suffering that, go talk to somebody. Why jump back in a relationship?
Right.
And then you make that relationship miserable, and then it's now that person's fault, and now you're bad-mouthing the next person.
I agree. And that's one thing that people feel like they can't do is ask for help, talk to someone. Work on yourselves first before you get into something else. Absolutely correct.
Well, I'm going to come up with a very unpopular opinion on this. Mm-hmm. And I tend to believe that these professionals, it's like a one-size-fits-all in most cases. And life is not black and white. It's nothing but shades of gray.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and professionals go by what they've been taught and how they read things. And I just That's just my opinion.
Well,
That's why you
no,
got to vet who you're talking to. You got to vet your therapist because some of them are different. Yeah.
Larry, you're correct, but here's the thing. That's with all of them, because I've been to therapists. When they first see you, it's just like we're talking about relationships, right? Getting to know somebody. When you first see that therapist, they've got to break you down too. It's their first time meeting you. So they're going to go to what are those markers? What are those things that they've, again, experienced in other people? Now, as you go through sessions and they start to learn you, that's when the next sessions, you got to go to those multiple sessions. Because the first time I went to a therapist, both times I wanted to jump out the window. But after my first experience, I learned I got to get a couple sessions in. Then they start getting it. Then they start asking you more questions, getting to the root of it.
They're earning the trust.
You know what? You know what you just described, John? Dating. That's exactly what it is.
Earning the trust.
I'm a therapist. I'm trying to date you. I'm asking these questions. You, as the significant other, is sitting up there asking them, should I trust him or should I answer these questions? So now there's an unmovable force versus an object that won't, an unstoppable object. So it's like, and nobody's going to budge. And then what happens? You know what? Things starts chipping away. Relationships start to grow, start to foster. But then when something happens, it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and you're
Absolutely.
still trying to figure it out. And it comes with experience. It comes with
time. It takes time.
Yeah, I've met people, who,
you know what?
Their first relationship, they don't trust anybody.
It takes time, but you know what? If it's been 3, 4, 5 years and you're still in the trauma, you need to talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, you can't spend the rest of your life, and I'm not saying this as a person who hasn't been through trauma. The first thing is you recognize one problem with people is they'll never recognize that they might be a part of the problem.
That's true.
No.
Some people never think they're the problem.
Yeah. And I told this to a friend the other day, and I think that's why we're not friends anymore, because since I've known them for 15 years, it's a terrible relationship. And they said, well, they go off and have these happy relationships. I said, well, you're the common denominator. In all of these relationships, you're the common denominator.
Absolutely. I agree. So since we're talking about trust, right? And relationships a lot. We're talking about trust and relationships a lot here. Because we kind of got off the professional train and kind of stuck with personal.
Well,
so do you feel like
My Perspective Friday?
Don't
it kind of bounced back and forth a little bit.
So do you feel like, since we're talking about trust being earned or given, once you get into this relationship, do you feel like your partner should have access to passwords? Because that's a level of trust, right? That's a level of trust.
Well, that's another thing that you're talking about, multiple things. For instance, I had a girlfriend. She had the password. I'll use my wife, for instance, married 7 years. I had the password to her phone. She had the password to my phone. I think I used her phone once. I needed the passwords because if we're in danger and I can't find my phone and she can't breathe, I need to call. The thing that passwords gets crazy is, why do you need the password to my work email? Like, if you want to have it, but what are you looking for? If you got it,
that's a good for your work wife. Yes, emails from the work wife.
See, that's the thing. She never asked for them because that thing I said on the other show. My wife told me I don't need to trust them. I need to trust you. If you got to go rooting around everything, I don't trust you. I don't need to be with you. It's an annoying.
I agree, John. But you know what? I guess when oh man, I'm conflicted now because I was.
Yeah, because you wrote all the way back when I asked that question. I was waiting on that.
So
having the passwords and needing to check on every single thing is two different things. You can have all the passwords you want. But
that's like when somebody pick up your phone and start scrolling right on your pictures. You're like, okay, you need to stop. It's one of those things where you're like, you know what?
Run into Larry and get this. Right, Larry?
Well, I got to tell you what, my wife and I have pretty much the same passwords on phones. We use the same email. I've got nothing to hide, but that comes with being married 3 times.
That's that level of trust. 3
It
times.
comes with trust.
No,
It comes with experience.
I just don't. I have no problem with that. I don't care if she knows my password.
So did the other 2 have your passwords?
What other
Did
2?
the other 2 wives have your passwords?
I don't recall. I really don't remember. But see, back at that time, there wasn't a lot of passwords. AOL wasn't even out yet. So, yeah. But
you know what? But it's like biting the devil to you, inviting the devil in your house. It's like I will give you my password, and then it's like that. It's like a blank check. It's a break in case, just in case of emergency. The first sign of distrust, then they're going through your things and looking at old emails that you haven't deleted that before her or him, and they're like, well, why do you still have that email? Why you still got that phone number? And you're like, well, I forgot it was in there. I don't go in there. So now they're digging, and now they're peeling back that onion. So who is this person? Okay, tell me about this person. Now you got to explain yourself.
Finding something to be upset about.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it could be, no, it's not necessarily. Sometimes it could be, some people are different around different people. Come on now. So your past, you might be a little different. So let me see how you were before, so I can gauge where you are now.
Yeah. That's what I said. So I never I had no need to go onto my wife's Yahoo and root through 7 years of Yahoo emails.
Absolutely. That's too much of my time. I would never do that.
Right. It is.
People do it.
Well, John, let me ask you a question. Let's just say that your wife has a friend that she's been working with late at night, and you come back and
she did. She was a model.
Well, I'm just hypothetical.
No, we'll use the real hypothetical. We had that.
Okay. So there, and in the back of your mind, you trust your wife, but you're saying, you know what? I don't trust him. I wonder what he's doing. I wonder if he's trying to pursue her. And then let's just say that the computer's there, an email comes in from him, and the email, the title to the email is like, "Hi, sunshine," or something like that, something flirty but fun. It's going to pique your interest. I guarantee you, somebody's going to
do. I'll tell you, I had that situation.
Okay, so what happened?
People tell you what it's going to do to you. It's a different. See how casual that was? Hey, sunshine. Hey, darling. Hey, now, if it said, "Hey, hot mama," or "I enjoyed you last night," that's different. Okay, let's see what this is about. Hey, sunshine. It's like.
But what about hey, hot mama? Hey, hot mama could be.
Well,
something.
I just said the verbiage. But the verbiage matters. We're using different verbiage now. The verbiage matters.
Okay.
It's like when somebody. What we'll keep doing is moving the goalpost, right?
Yes.
He says,
there you go.
"Hey, sunshine." I said, "That's okay." What if he says, "Hey, hot mama"? What if he says, "Hey, sexy lady"? We're just moving the goalpost until I'm upset, right? It's just like
what gets you upset?
Yeah.
What gets you upset?
Huh?
What gets you upset?
Well, if it was something sexual that he said, and then I'm going to click on it and see if she responds. But hey, sunshine, finding something to be upset about. So my wife goes and likes a sexy guy's picture on Instagram. People get upset. You like the picture. Like, get over it.
That's ridiculous. People get upset about social media. That's what this there for. Is liking. Is nobody's talking to each other.
I'll let you know. My wife got the password.
Hold on, Larry's going to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
No, I don't want to interrupt Sean, but no, I just had a question. How do you know about the emails if you're not already looking at them?
Oh no,
you just walk past. Well, Sean says like you just walk past it and saw it.
Well, here's the thing. Not even walk, because if I walk past the side, I'm just being nosy. If I'm on the computer working and a notification pops up and it says, "Hey, hot mama, I enjoyed last night." It's like, hot mama enjoyed last night? Whoa. That's different. When I used to be on the computer, I would see things that say stuff that like, "Great photo shoot. You're so beautiful." people see so beautiful. They go, why is he calling her beautiful? She's a model. She's beautiful. The photographer took pictures. It's like, again, finding what she said. You gave me the scenario of she's working late with someone,
Right.
and I may not trust him, but I trust her.
Correct.
We can hit on her all she wants. Hitting on her, and here's the thing, and I'm gonna be quiet because I talk a lot. I want him to hit on her. I want him to hit on her.
Because why would I want them? I want somebody that wants them too. Yes.
Right. Who wants a wife that's so ugly that when she walks down the street, mothers run away?
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
But,
I agree 100%.
But on the other hand, if you read an email like that and it upsets you in one way or another,
what do I do?
Instead of maybe
It
reading
just opens
more,
up a
looking
conversation.
for more, I'd be talking to the wife when she gets home.
Bam, there it is, Larry. Address it like an adult, not that passive aggressive. I'm gonna hold it and wait till dinner and all that. And so now for 3 hours, your mind is festering and making up scenarios and now all of a sudden,
You know what?
you're
I think-
picturing
I
him
think
throwing her on the desk.
I would disagree with that. I would disagree with that. And on the reason why I say I would disagree, because some people are not very good at on the moment, on the spot corrections, meaning that they have to take a step back and look at everything holistically and be like, you know what, am I jumping the gun? Am I doing this? I'm doing that. Am I looking at this the wrong way or whatever? I'm just talking about as far as waiting to talk to the significant other about the email. Like I'm
But it's not a correction, it's a conversation.
Well, no,
you're not
right, but what I was just saying, it was just a play with words. I was just using some HR stuff.
But Sean,
like
you're
on
right.
the spot correction.
You're right in the terms of the one you gave me of "Hey Sunshine." You got to sit back and saying, "Am I like the liking of a photo? I'm overreacting." But in terms of what we talked about, when you actually see something that's concrete,
right?
Don't let it fester.
But right. But some people has a certain way of dealing, and I know we're talking about code. We were talking about passwords and stuff with social media and stuff. But some people have a certain way of dealing with conflict. Like I'm the type of person where if I see something and I'm that upset, I need to step back and take a walk and before I come back to talk to whoever I'm upset with. Now,
and that comes with knowing yourself. You got to know yourself to know what you need to do.
Exactly. And that's why I say that some people have to, some people can jump into it and be like, you know what, I'm going to talk to you right now about it. And some people are like, you know what, I'm that upset. I don't want to say nothing stupid. I don't want to do anything stupid. So they take a step back and try to collect themselves prior to having as you said, an adult conversation, because it's hard to have an adult
that made you upset. First you got to think about, why is this making you upset? So yeah, sometimes you do.
Exactly. And
I want to ask Larry a question, because Larry, and you don't have to get into detail. And you don't of course your communication skills got better in each marriage, right?
I hope so. Yeah. Well, the third one stuck, so I guess I did. Yeah.
I was going to remind us that the third one stuck. No, because some of the things that Sean's is saying, which makes sense, is, and I always say this when you say, like, some people don't know how to handle on the spot situations, and what I'm always telling people is, but you can work on that. Everybody loves to just give the excuse of, well, this is how I am. And I'm like, that's anti-evolving as a human. You know that you can't handle that. And especially if you have a partner who hates when you bring up things 3 days later, So there has to be some common ground on working on how to get better at that. And that's why I want to ask Larry, Larry's been married 3 times. So apparently it's gotten better. Right? Or it wouldn't have stuck, right, Larry?
Well, yes, I believe it has gotten better. But on the other hand, I'm the type of person, in spite of what you just said, I'm the type of person that has to deal with something right away or relatively soon. when you sit around and do nothing but think about things, in my opinion, it just makes it worse. Your mind wanders. You start doing all kinds of things. You think of all kinds of things that aren't actually there. And I like to deal with them up front right away.
That goes back to what Sean said. You know, some people got to do it right now. Some people got to step back. That's knowing yourself. How do you process things? Because you do have people who will take time, and when they take that time, they think of everything else that wasn't even there, and then they come back with something different. So,
well, yeah. As an example, my second marriage, I thought we had a great marriage, but we did not communicate very well. You know, and really, that's what it was all about. You've got to communicate, and when things come up, you got to get into it. You got to discuss it. And I'm not talking angrily. I'm talking about
exactly.
You sit down
respectfully.
And do it like an adult.
Sean, Sean, because some people get mad at this. One person's clearly angry, and the other person is saying, "Hey, let's talk about this when everything calms down," and that makes the other person even more angry. Mm-hmm. You should never make emotional decisions.
Yes, correct.
And
if a person needs a minute, respect them to take that minute. You know, if somebody's asking you, give me a second. I don't want to discuss it right now. Give them respect to just move on and come back to it later. So you have to know each other and respect each other in that.
And I got a secret. I'm on my third marriage too.
Oh,
okay.
You and Larry right there together.
I can believe that.
And yeah, that's funny. And
there's two of us there, huh?
And so I know about reacting on the spot. Me and Larry, we're just totally opposite poles. He's North Pole, I'm in the South Pole. So I know I know when I react or when something happens, and it just comes with experience. And I just say something, and it just got worse. And these people want to talk about it right then and there. So I just want to be very clear when I say that, when I take a step back and I said to myself, you know what, I need to think about what's going on. I'm not waiting 2 or 3 days. Okay. I am taking a step back, and maybe I'm going to wait 3 or 4 hours just to cool myself off. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to come to the conversation, because whoever that I am with already know how I am. So they are not going to, and I know how they are. So they're going to be like, okay, I'm gonna give him his space, and I'm just going to sit here, and I'm just going to just but I'm just going to just wait for him to come talk to me, or we can come together and talk to each other. Sometimes, depending on what is going on, you probably cannot sit there and talk about it on the spot. You have to back up and be like, hold up, is this what I'm hearing? Okay, and let me look at my phone again. You know, it's not me sitting up here, you know, I'm going to talk to you right now. Tell me what happened. Okay, and then this person's caught off guard, and I'm up there looking crazy because I'm up there saying that I just looked in your Yahoo account, but she got MSN. So I want to make sure that I got all the facts first before I sit up there and talk like an adult about a conversation.
And that's good, because you know your tone, your attitude, your energy may be completely off if you're in a certain place. So that's good. So you know the conversation will be good and respectful if you need to step back.
And it comes from experience from both ways. Larry's experience is this way, and it worked well for him because he's got more experience. My experience was this way, and it works well because I got experience. It depends on who you are in a relationship with.
Everybody's different.
And the situation.
Okay. You and Larry's communication can't be that good because
y'all on your third marriage.
No, because neither one of you communicated to Tequila that we were wearing blue today. So how good can your communication be?
I'm the only female up here today, so you know that's how it worked out. Before I started stand out, y'all all unified.
Hey, Larry, I'll take the heat on this one, brother. You're good to go.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, sir.
It is what it is.
Well, you know what?
See,
We like communicating, but we also like eating. And if you live in Morrisville, North Carolina, Cary, North Carolina, or any part of the Carolinas, you should come on down to Morrisville, Carolina, and have you some Georgina's pizza. All right, that wasn't supposed to play more than once. I'll get better at that. It's hard to do it while being on the show.
So my thing about the passwords and trust and everything we've talked about today, if you don't trust your partner, you know, that's going to be a reason for people to probably say, I'm not going to share my passwords. Sometimes that means you have something to hide. Sometimes you feel like, oh, if you trust me, you shouldn't want them anyway. So it comes with communication. It comes with where you are in your situation, you know, but it's nothing wrong with I'm with John. If something happens and I can't get to you and I need some information, I might need your phone. I might need something that belongs to you. So it should be open for certain things. You don't have to have access to everything, though. Doesn't mean I don't trust you. It just means we need to make sure we have access to what we need.
Yeah, I don't mind giving you all my passwords. I'm just gonna sit here and look at you crazy when I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've heard this. I've had friends whose wives or girlfriends got them really drunk, and as soon as they fell asleep, they're like pressing their face up against their phone trying to get it.
They looking for something to be mad at.
If you're at that stage, why are you together?
Right.
It's
like you're looking for a reason to have an argument so you can leave and do what you want to do. That's what it is. You're looking for a reason to start an argument so you can leave to do what you want to do. That's too much.
I totally agree, because as and I'm sorry, Larry, it's one thing. You could be together for 100 years and nothing happens. And
whoa, leave Larry out of this.
Well, let me ask, why would you need to say get your wife's password to her phone to get in touch with her?
No, I was saying something like let's say me and Tila are married and I don't have my phone on me. I just don't have my phone on me, and an emergency happens. She falls out, and now I'm trying to call on her phone. I mean, I know you can 911, but I'm trying to call on the phone. I can't even turn the phone on.
Your phone might have died. You know how many people go walk around, their phones died, didn't charge? I mean, anything.
No, a married man never has a phone that dies.
No, they have two phones. They have a backup. They have a backup. Let's be honest.
Wow. You're saying you got a burner, huh?
All right, now I just misunderstood y'all, so we're okay now.
Cool.
Wow, you know what?
Hey, for the record, I do not have a burner account. That was Tila just put it out there.
Yeah, Just trying to make sure she know. Oh, let me check to make sure he got a second one somewhere.
Wow.
I tell you, I let you know. My wife is if my wife want to know something, she becomes an IT professional. She got a PhD in IT, so she
got
smells
great
something,
investigative skills.
You know.
Well, you better be careful, huh?
Hey.
Oh, I've been there.
Just think about it. Some people have these hide me apps where they hide certain things behind an app. That's just too much. We shouldn't be together. Why are you here?
Hey, Tequila, what is it called? Hide me?
It's
your wife will see this episode. Why don't we get into these final thoughts?
Okay. So, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is it on all of it? Trust and phone password.
We talked about a lot. We talked about 6 marriages.
Well, I tell you,
I feel like you always start with a level of at least comfort. You might not want to call it a level of trust, but you feel comfortable enough to let this person have access to you and to grow beyond where you are at that point. So yes, in a way, trust is earned, you know, that level of getting higher in the how much you trust a person. And then when it comes to passwords, again, everybody has their own access thing to that, but I feel like passwords should be open. It should be an open communication. It shouldn't be nothing wrong with it. If you don't have anything to hide, if you don't trust a person, you shouldn't be with them in the first place.
There you go.
My final thoughts are very short. You're an adult. Quit acting like you're in high school relationships. That's all I'm saying.
I like that.
Now mine, as like I said earlier, trust and respect must be earned. You know, you don't deserve it. I mean, it's not an entitlement. You have to earn it. Now, with the passwords, things like that, as an example, if I need something and it's in my wife's purse, as an example, I'll take that purse and hand it to her because I won't go through it and look. I have no reason to. You know, I just that's her property. I respect that. And I said the same thing with passwords. I have no interest in looking at her accounts or what may be on her phone, what isn't. If I'm not suspecting anything, I've got no interest in looking. And I expect her to treat me the same way.
It's good. What about you, Sean?
My final thoughts, I'm a little conflicted. I listened to everybody on the panel, and I think there's not one wrong answer. So let me, and I'm doing this because John hates when I talk like this because I can't get to the point.
No, I just hate when you say panel.
You said panel.
You cannot get rid of that panel word.
What is it? Okay, the host.
The cast.
My team members. My cast. There's got to be a better word than cast. Cast, group.
You can say the crew.
Okay.
The crew.
The crew.
Team crew.
Oh, like the rock steady crew. Okay, got
My
it.
peeps.
Nobody. But well, okay, really quick. I believe that trust should be given until there's a reason for it not for you to be given, and then it has to be earned, depending on the situation, depending on the person, depending on what's going on. As far as passwords, I believe that passwords should be shared to a point where once that person violates the trust, as we stated, then you're going to have to create passwords. And then the other issue is, now can you trust this person, because now they want to go through your things and, you know, ask you questions and want to know why this person calling you sunshine.
That's on a whole new argument.
Exactly. But that's where I'm at. It's the double-edged sword on each one.
Okay.
But I believe that's it.
Why are you ending the show so awkwardly, Sean?
Thank you. You know what?
Hey, you know what?
I appreciate you.
You know what? Thank you. I'm gonna talk to my cast after this a little bit later.
Thank y'all for joining us. Please like and subscribe to My Perspective Fridays along with KeoniProductions. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Take care.